Libras, welcome to your weekly Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is for April 18th to the 24th of 2016. I'm Athen, and this is for Sidereal. If you are new to the channel, be sure to check out the link because the signs are different. All right, so Libra, we have a lot going on this week. We have the sun shifting into Aries. We've got a lot of aspects with your ruler Venus and a full moon on a Friday. So let's go ahead and have a look at what this looks like for you guys. Coming off from last weekend, we had Mars recently go retrograde. And so he's going to be retrograde all the way through the end of June. And now at the very beginning of Monday, we got Pluto going retrograde at roughly the same time. So there's this reflective energy coming into the mix. Later in the week, we're going to have Mercury retrograde. So now this is specifically involving where you can reflect on perhaps your relationships right now at the moment and for the next few months. Rehash, redo anything that you're involved with in terms of partnerships, business dealings, contracts, depending on what you're involved with. But all in all, for all of you, relationships, reflecting on that. And the other area too is that of your values. In fact, that's been the area Mars has recently gone into. And so for about the past month, you've probably felt motivation and drive to cultivate your values in life. Maybe it's the material stuff for some of you, maybe it's the assets. Maybe, and I think just generally for all of you too, it's your sense of self-reliance, becoming more self-reliant. And that's been something Saturn has been showing you to have discipline with for about the past year, to be patient with the finances and stuff, to kind of, dollar saved is a dollar earned kind of a thing. But now with this reflection, really reflecting on what you value, who you value, how you can continue to cultivate these things that you enjoy in life. Right, and perhaps redo and rehash some of those things as well. So that's that area. Now Pluto is also associated with that, so that's adding to the reflection of the values. But Pluto is in your third house. So with this one, there's this reflection now in terms of how you can transform your communication and your mind. For many years, you've had Pluto in your third house helping you release attachments to your communication, attachments to your knowledge, perhaps. And so now, as there is half of the year for 6 months, Pluto retrograde. So a good time to rethink what you've been learning, where you can make change with the mind, where there might be some rational or mental patterns in your life, unconsciously, about maybe those things that can be let go, can be transformed through the awareness. And all in all with Pluto, just sometimes when we come from that state, of presence, of non-attachment, just really drawing that line and saying, I'm going to make change with this area, right? So it could be anything involving those things. It could be anything in your immediate environment, which is that third house. Also short distance travel, siblings, and again, anything that's about communication or correspondence. So that's subtle energy, but I think as the week unfolds, a bit of reflection on the mind and comms. Now, also early in the week, we start the aspects with Venus. Like I said, there is a lot of them. This one here on Monday is a trine from Saturn. So you guys might be feeling quite grounded on Monday, which is good. Developing yourself in many ways and whatever goals you might be involved with this early part of the week. But a lot of this is transforming. I just want to add. On Tuesday, right after that, and probably the second half of Monday too, your ruler squares up to Pluto. So you guys are transforming. You guys are changing on some level this week. And the real purpose of all of this is for you to connect to your work or connect to your routine. This has been the big emphasis, and I think there's been a lot of attention here with your ruler in the 6th house. So the sun is shifting out of the 6th, is going into your 7th. So there is a focus now shifting towards relationships, which I'll talk more about in just a second. And so that energy is definitely shifting in your focus, but still a lot of intentions with self. It's a great week to make some modifications, again, maybe some deep changes with your routine, with your work that might need to be made. And again, allowing the ego to take a back seat, coming from a state of non-attachment, is always the best way to work with that. Now, Venus also rules your 8th house, so it could be changing too in terms of you opening up or matters relating to intimacy or shared resources, and those kinds of deeper avenues of life. Now, as we go through the rest of the week, you'll start to feel that sun going into the 7th. So here, for about the next month, you guys got this enjoyment, in fact, you can have with relationships, or at least insight. And this is already an area that you've been thinking about with Mercury here in the 7th house. Like I said, Mercury's going to go retrograde, so this is going to be an area of re-examination, just like it is right now. You know, re-examining those relationships with that Mars retrograde. But now with the Sun here, there's a lot of focus. There's a shift of focus. You can enjoy those interpersonal relationships. And as you go into next month, maybe set some intentions with those. Now, also about the middle to later part of the week, we've got Mercury trining up to the North Node. And so here there's a lot of learning, actually, this part of the week. And I think specifically with, on one hand, what your ideals are, which is this new expansion for you with both Jupiter in the North Node in your 11th house. Maybe continuing to learn about networks or groups or your friends, networking, your ideals, your hopes, your wishes. But in terms of this Mercury specifically, you could be learning this week about adventurousness, a bit of that expanding your horizons, seeing what's possible, maybe what's possible in those relationships, learning about relationships, and maybe even too the importance of getting that rest and relaxation in your life. And that is going to be the high point of the week, because on Friday morning we've got a full moon in your 12th house of spirituality. And so this has been an ongoing cultivation area for you, in fact, since the last full moon was in Virgo as well. So there is this continued cultivation of your spiritual self, of your alone time, getting that R&R, that rest and relaxation that is so important in our lives. And for any of you who have been involved with specifically spiritual activities or spiritual transformation over the past 6 months, this could be a status check where you're seeing this area and you can make some changes, adapt, and continue to manifest, continue to cultivate that area as you go through the next 6 months, which is that solar cycle of that 12th. But in either case, a lot of you should be gaining some insight about these matters, about your spiritual self, where you can have more peace, more surrender, and perhaps more alone time. Now, the week tops off with your ruler conjoining up to Uranus going into the weekend. So this can be quite freeing, in fact. And this is a great second half of the week to mix things up, to try new things, specifically with the routine. But a lot of you just tapping into your true unique self, because your ruler going over Uranus could really accentuate that. And that can be freeing you up too. So maybe there's more openness, maybe there's more intimacy. You know, and the intimacy really starts with self. And so you're transforming this early part of the week, and then by the end of the week, it could be quite freeing with more of this openness, deeper connection, and you really being that true essence that you are. All right, Libra, so have a fantastic week. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next week.